So, you're an entrepreneur in 2019 looking to live that laptop lifestyle. But like most people, you're overwhelmed with the choices out there. If you're like me and own a number of companies and are looking to live the ecom life, chances are you're looking between the Apple Macbook Pro and the brand new Microsoft Surface Laptop 2. Today we're going to go through both of these machines, but first, play the intro. What's going on, guys? My name's David Tomich and welcome back to the channel. As mentioned, today we're going to be looking at two very powerful machines. Hopefully, with the right selection, either of these two are going to be able to run any program you need. So with that being said, let's dive straight into what these machines are capable of and what kind of programs you're most likely going to be running as an e-com entrepreneur in 2019. Alright, so let's get started by taking a look at the Apple Macbook Pro. There's lots of versions of the Apple Macbook Pro, and chances are you're not going to need the top of the range, which comes in at about $3,500, if not more, depends where you live. If you're just starting a dropshipping store, you're more than likely going to be okay with running an i5 processor and maybe about 128 gigs of space, and also pairing that with a Google Drive account or a Dropbox account just to fill out all that extra storage and be able to work as mobile as possible. But if you're running a full branded store in 2019, you're really going to have to step up your game and make sure you stand out from the crowd. There's a lot of people in the industry now that are pumping out content day in, day out, and there's really quite a lot of processing power required from one of these machines to pump up that quality. When you're importing full resolution RAW files from something like a Canon 6D, which I'm filming on right now, into the MacBook Pro, hopefully you're going to be running an i7 processor. In my personal opinion, there's only three things that you need to have in your machine. It's an i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM at minimum, and also a dedicated graphics card. There are a few drawbacks when you grab a brand new MacBook Pro. For instance, they run two USB-C ports. As much as I love USB-C, they're not really up into the market at the moment. You're going to need to buy brand new flash drives, all different cables, all different connectors. It's a bit of a pain, especially when you're trying to run things off your USB or even into an external storage, or even just exporting files from your camera. Not having a USB 3 port in 2019 is still a bit hit and miss in my personal opinion, but you can always grab different hubs and different adapters to make it a bit easier, so it's not the end of the world. If you're looking to live that laptop lifestyle as an e-com entrepreneur, and maybe you want to live outside or travel the world, live in Bali, whatever it is you're looking to do, you might be working outside quite a bit. Now there's a bit of a con to working outside, and that's sunlight. Sunlight can be so harsh and hard to work with outside on your laptop, especially if your screen isn't capable of pumping out high volumes of backlighting. One of the advantages over the MacBook Pro versus the Surface Laptop 2, in my personal opinion, is the screen is just that little bit better and a little bit brighter, which makes it just that much easier to work outside in any location on the brightest, sunniest day. If you aren't already aware, most companies actually design their software to run on a Windows operating system versus the Mac OS. But that doesn't mean these software programs don't work on the Apple MacBook. Everything I use today runs perfectly on an Apple. So there's no need for you to be considering, oh, maybe one of these programs isn't going to work, or what happens if I need this different program. Chances are we live in a pretty modern society now that everything is going to be compatible. If you're sitting there thinking, ooh, I wonder what kind of programs he uses from day in, day out. Well, there's about 4 that I use every single day. It's Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, and Premiere Pro. I'm going to go through all of these programs in a different video with lots of different tutorials and instructional guides of how they can be useful for your e-com business. But today let's continue with the review of the Surface Laptop 2. Now before we continue with the review of the Surface Laptop 2, I want you guys to pause the video and let me know in the comments below if you think I'm a Windows guy or an Apple guy. Do you think I'm using this machine here or the other one we just took a look at? Okay, so why would you pick the Surface Laptop 2 over the MacBook Pro? Well, for starters, the Surface Laptop 2 comes in a lot cheaper than the MacBook Pro. If you're going for the top of the range model, as this one is here, it comes in just under $3,000. Now, I selected the Surface Laptop 2 for a couple of reasons. One, the sleek and stylish design of the unit. 2, the fact that it's pitch black. I love that about this laptop. And 3, it's able to produce some incredible specs. It basically has everything that I need to be able to set up a remote work day anywhere around the world. Now I do have a concern with the Surface Laptop 2, and it's really going to be determined by time if that concern is factual or not. Basically, when you open up the laptop, you're going to see this upholstered keyboard surface. Now I'm a bit worried that the longer you spend on your laptop, resting your wrists on it, the sweatier it gets in a hot day in a bad environment, that it's going to start staining and leaving marks. Now, you can't really remove this fabric. If you try, you will pretty much destroy the laptop. Trust me, I've taken a look at videos and I've thought about it. But hopefully it lasts and it holds up. That's one of my personal drawbacks over purchasing this over the MacBook Pro. There's another thing about the Surface Laptop 2 that kind of gets me a little bit worried. Underneath this little section here is the trackpad, and when you do click it together, you can feel the screen pressing on the trackpad and clicking. Now, it is a little bit of a concern because I'm always worried that that means the screen is very thin and very close to the top of the case, which means you could break it while traveling, slip it into your bag, and it's always a little bit of a worry for me. If you do purchase one of these Surface Laptop 2s, you're going to be wanting to go for the top of the range if you are running a branded store. If you're not, if you're just running a drop shipping store, you can buy lower end models, which do come in a little bit cheaper than the MacBook Pros at about $1,500. Again, I'll link some stuff down in the description below. Hopefully you can get a good overview of everything that's possible to buy on the market today. Okay, so what's the conclusion? Are we a MacBook family or are we a Windows family? Well, I don't know your business model, so I can't really recommend you the best laptop to buy, but you do, and I'm hoping the information I've just given you is going to help you make that choice. If you're running a dropshipping store or anything similar and you're really just working on emails and on your Shopify store most of the day, I would 100% recommend the Apple Macbook Pro because it is going to last a lot longer, the battery life wise, and it's also going to give you a much better picture and clarity outside in the daylight. Now, if you're running a branded store, you're going to need a very powerful machine. Both of these options do come in an i7 option, but because the Surface Laptop is almost $700 cheaper, I opted for the Surface Laptop as it is just as powerful, just as good, and it's a Windows-based operating system, and that's something I know a lot better than Apple. I also don't carry an iPhone around, so I don't need the Apple compatibility like most people do, which is a great advantage for me. If, however, you are carrying around an Apple and have lots of Apple products, then potentially the extra $700 may be worth it for you because it's going to allow you to really integrate your workflow and speed things up a lot more down the track. And that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you found this video helpful and you're one step closer to picking your new ecom entrepreneur laptop. I'm going to be releasing an ecom video every Monday from here on in, so make sure you smash that subscribe button 2019 style, and I'll see you in the next one.